Thank you for listening to the Crown Refs Podcast, the audio experience for basketball officials. Serve the game.
Zach, before we get rocking, just tell me some of your takeaways from this IPR.
Big takeaways, I would say, is just slow down in the processing mode. There are a lot of times where I didn't give myself that beat to be able to process of like what I actually saw and what kind of contact it was. So, you know, a lot of fouls that I called were hand checks, and there weren't hand checks. You know, I watched through the whole game multiple times, and there were a lot of times I was just shaking my head. I'm like, why am I calling this a hand check? I'm like, why is this my go-to signal? It's like one of the weakest ones. Trail positioning was the other one.
Yeah.
God, my trail positioning was not at a level. I'll say it.
I like that. That's some mindset stuff right there. What you just
not at a level that I would like it to be at.
I just want to stop right there. I'm trying to get in, you know, we talk about positive self-talk, and with regards to like mistakes that we make on the court, we've all been guilty of this, but like, oh my God, that was horrible, or how the fuck did I miss this one? But what Zach just did was he was about to go down that road, but you just reframed it, and it's just going to lead to more overall confidence with you and just a better mindset. So I just wanted to stop you there and give you props for that. Something I'm really leaning into this year. You know, mistakes are learning opportunities, and everything is a blessing. Keep going. Anything else?
Third thing was just lead positioning. I feel like I'm too disconnected from the play. A lot of plays, and if I really just stepped in a step and a half, 2 steps, I would be in. Feel like a much better spot.
Yeah. Great.
So those are probably the 3 big things.
Yeah, I think you hit it on the nose. A lot of the content in my report had to do with those categories. So let's no, before we start, was this the first time you've kind of had an awakening about your positioning?
So kind of not. Well, it's really a second time, because it's funny. My buddy and one of my high school officiating mentors, they watched part of this game as well, and they were telling me similar things that you were telling me. But I think for me, it almost having a second pair of eyes and a second opinion on it really kind of just like finally made it click. I was like, wow.
Good.
You know, something I feel like getting to the 28-foot mark and making that my home is something that I've already been actively working on since this game, because this was pretty I mean, at this point, this was almost a year ago, so February game. So but still at the same time, you know, I haven't officiated a lot of basketball lately because I've been so busy with high school football that it's just really good reminders for me to not slip back into those bad habits that, you know, I had for the first couple of years of, you know, two-person officiating.
Right. All right, why don't you pull up 7:52 first quarter, and we'll say hello to Sharice and Dion. Thank you guys for coming. How you been? Dion, you're looking good on that cover.
Hey y'all, yeah. Looking forward to seeing what I'm gonna, listen tonight.
Always appreciate you, Miss Frazier.
Thanks, Paul.
Good evening, everybody. I'm driving, so.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, D.
Yeah.
And we got Steve from Australia hopping in. All right, so first play, one of the comments was just too deep in the lead position. My question for you was, do you feel comfortable so deep in the lead? And let's just give everybody a look at what we mean. So this is to the opening possession. Real quick, before, Zach, just hold it up. We just have to enhance the video. Do you have the option to enhance video so it doesn't skip? I can't hear you, muted.
Was it optimized for video clip?
Exactly. Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Cool.
I just said
Thank you.
that.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Yep.
All right, so just right now, too deep in lead. I think we should be basically on the edge of the black line and really not much deeper than that. I mean, it's going to vary based on your size and your height. And ultimately, I want you to be comfortable. But I just think this lacks that connection to the play. And so let's just take probably 2 steps closer to the end line. Let it run. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
Zach, could you just lower the game volume a little bit?
Yeah. Let
Thanks.
me do that.
All right, 7:27. You have a foul coming up. Remember, good habits, just signal-wise, is to use the outside hand. It's more of a preference. It's nothing written in stone, but pretty simple. Just like a foundation for us, outside hand when we're calling fouls. The hand closest to the end line, your nearest end line. 7:27. Did we miss something? A good signal to get into is using the outside to point and stop the clock. In this case, the ball went out on the right sideline, so stop the clock and point with the right hand. Okay, you had an out of bounds play, so just stopping it with the right, pointing with the right. Could you rewind that 1 second?
Yeah, I will.
Let's flatten out your point. I notice officials sometimes they're stopping the clock with that bent hand, so I just think a flatter hand going straight up. It's our best look.
And I hate how I dislike how much I am counting. Too much counting.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, just stay with the right hand there, and try to get the arm up a little bit straighter. Let's see here. A little far away on that inbounds. I would take a step closer to that inbounder there. Next play we have is 6:33.
6:33. Oh,
There's a lot of notes on this part, which is good. 6:33
here.
Excellent decision to penalize this illegal contact by the fender. One takeaway is to slow down. Here's what I notice about your signaling. Did it just get blurrier on us?
Yeah, it looks like really pixelated on my end.
Let me see if I can pull it back. Should be. Turn the optimize thing off. On and back on again.
Okay.
Let's see if it fixes it.
That looks good.
Better?
Yeah. See how
Okay.
the motion looks. Yeah, cool. Let's just watch how explosive your arm goes up.
Ooh.
And then you're very quick to signal what the foul is. That's something I want you to cut out all together. Just fist. Unless it's a block play or a charge, or you have to indicate a hit to the head, or just something that we normally signal on the spot, don't need to show an immediate push, because that's one of the trends throughout this game is when you call a foul, you're immediately doing something after that. And in most cases, it's the hand check, which I'd rather you do a push than a hand check quickly.
Right.
But it's all about process and how quickly you did those two signals in that split second of time. Your mind is going twice as fast as that.
Oh, yeah.
Because what your body just showed. So just imagine how much your mind is racing based off physically what you're showing. So just slow it down, just punch the sky, and then just stay planted. Let's watch that again. So your foul signal was a little too quick and explosive. I think you could tone it down a few levels. Your push signal also is too fast, and try to have a cadence between each one. That being said, there's no need to signal a foul type on the spot, especially for obvious fouls. Okay, number of shots on the spot. I'm sure you've heard me talk about that. It's just something that younger, newer officials do or old school officials do. And I don't want anyone to fall in those two categories just yet. It's just an observation I have, and it just makes us look like a rookie, to be honest with you. I remember I heard Mike Eads, he's a Final Four official, he's the SEC coordinator. I heard him say that one time at a camp, probably 2015, and it really resonated with me, and it's just like, it's excess, just too much, don't need to do it. Let me just finish shots on the spot. You are fundamentally correct by showing all these signals on the spot. The problem is they are unnecessary, and we should look to reduce the excess signals. You'll be working college very soon, and this is something that you don't see as you move up the level or skill. Your table reporting looks much better. However, it's still a little robotic. Can we go check your report one more time?
Yeah.
It's a little robotic. I want you to smooth in the transition between each signal. I'm sorry, go back one more frame. Let's check out your positioning first. You look a little straight lined. All right, so back it up till the start of that drive. Positioning impacts play calling.
Here we go.
I'll tell you when to freeze it. Freeze. So you're right now you're straight lined. I would like you to take probably 1 to 2 steps to the right. This way it'll give you a better angle to see inside those two players in the point of contact versus the straight line position that you're in now. So just take 1 or 2 steps just a little bit wider.
Yeah, I just thought about it. I'm like, okay, well, if I was a little bit outside of like where the black hits the end of the end line, outside of that C would be probably a much
Absolutely.
better.
Yep, right outside the C for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, let's check out your report. Maybe the numbers are a little too outward, and the push is a little too outward too. So maybe bend the arms a little bit when you're reporting instead of straight arms. Connor, did you see? Did you look a little straight to you?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, I know, like when I report, I'm more like I still got like a little bit of bend. It looked like it was a little far out.
But I'm noticing the evolution with your signaling. I know you've sent me videos from like the time you joined to then like a few months later until now. So I like the progression that I'm seeing. And hopefully if I were to watch you ref right now, you would look 100 times better just off all that information that's in the report. Let's go to 612. There it is. Here it is. I think this is one of the, all right, good. So this is an example of trail positioning. Can we start at the beginning of the possession? Hey, Steve, how you doing, by the way?
Yep.
Good to see you, pal.
Hey, how are you?
Appreciate you coming, man. Hope the family's well.
Yeah, they're well. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Steve produces a podcast for Andrew Bogut.
Ooh. Awesome.
All right. Go ahead, Zach. I'd like to see you get up the court a little bit sooner. But let's stay more sideline oriented. Now, I know in a 2-person game, sometimes we're going to have to come out onto the court. However, this is way too far out on the court because this is your partner's primary. So what your partner should have did here is the lead in a good position to ref this play? So he has to get more in line with the ball. He's got to rotate wider or adjust to a wider angle to be straight line with the ball. And then that's going to be his primary coverage area. As soon as the ball were to curl back towards the paint area, then you would take over that responsibility. But right now you're just looking too far out of your zone. I think we need to be right around where this arrow is. Can you see the arrow? You can't see my arrow 'cause I'm not screen sharing.
Yeah, no, I can't see it.
Yeah, I mean, little higher than 3-point line extended, and then in between this blue and black line, pretty much. You know. Okay, let it play.
Yeah, because I'm having to adjust a ton. Just so much unnecessary movement, like.
Yeah, and understand too when the ball is leaving your primary, and your lead is accepting it, and just still too far out on the court. Got to get back to the sideline oriented. Want you to be more sideline oriented in this play. It's the lead's primary coverage. Step down and shift your eyes to the players in front of you. Next play happens at 6:01. Do you have those graphics?
Yeah, I have them up on my phone.
Can you screen share? Oh, on your phone? Okay.
Yeah, I have them up on my phone because I have the actual IPR pulled up on my phone.
I want to show the group the little the picture illustrations.
I can pull it up on my email real quick.
Cool.
Let me stop my share real quick and I'll pull up my email.
I did a little bootleg edit, but it did the job.
Oh, 100%.
I cut Zach out and replaced him in the proper position.
Let's see. Reshare here. All right, let me get down to that. Here are the first two.
Yeah. So this is just dating back to the last play that we looked at. It gives you guys a little bit better of a visual of what I was saying. Obviously in the top one, too far out in trail in the middle of the court, and he's looking at the wrong matchup. And then if you look down at the bottom one, relocated him to focus on the players in the paint. So, thank you, Zach.
Absolutely. All right, let me go back to this.
Next play, 5:27. We probably don't have to watch this one. This is a point for all of you guys. I'm noticing on the high school level, we're very quick to start a 5-second count, 5-second closely guarded. And what that does is just speeds everything up. It's like A1 gets the ball, then A1 dribbles, we're going with the left hand, and then A1 picks up the ball, and then when A1 passes to A2, it's the same thing. And then we're running around like a chicken with their head cut off. So for you guys, just this year, 5 seconds is something we're probably not going to call all year. You might have one closely guarded 5-second call. Watch, it's going to happen to one of you 4 times this year because I just said that. But the point is, you don't have to rush a foul that we rarely even call. So just have that perspective. Let's go to 3:31. You have a rebounding foul. Does anybody feel that they're sped up during the 5-second closely guarded counts? Yeah, Portia. Absolutely. Taylor, thanks for joining us. How you doing?
Well, Paul, is that a requirement? Sorry.
I'm sorry, Steve. I'll get to you in 1 second. What were you saying, Taylor?
Oh, I see the same. I was good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for coming. Appreciate you. Good seeing you. What were you saying, Steve?
Sorry, Paul. In that system, that closely guarded count, is that a requirement of that rule set? Because in FIBA we wouldn't be that quick off the mark. I wouldn't think.
Well, it's required. It's required for us to count 5 seconds closely guarded. But what I'm noticing is officials are very quick to start that count, and they're doing it every time there's a new possession started. I really don't start my 5-second count till like A1 has had the ball a second, and then I'll just find out a way to catch up and make sure it's 5 seconds and not like 6.5. Just an observation of mine.
Sorry, I was late to this. Can I ask one more question?
Absolutely.
The lead and the trail seem to be on opposite sides of the court from normal. Is that?
This is This is a 2-person game. Do you guys do it differently in FIBA, where you would have 2 officials on the strong side?
Generally, I would come down if I was on trail where this guy is on lead, I'd be over where the player is on the left side of the court, and the lead guy would be on the right. On the left.
I'm trying to understand what you're saying. Would they be on the same?
Would be the positioning on like where the lead guy is on the baseline there. We would be on the other side from that.
Oh, just because where the ball is, you're saying?
Maybe I'm just looking at it in reverse. Just looks backwards to me.
But we have one official on the left side in the lead and the other officials on the right side in trail. Are you saying you guys do it differently in FIBA?
Lead and trail would be the same. They'd just be on opposite sides from where those guys are standing. I would have thought it. I mean, you would move around on trail as required. Maybe discussion for another day. It just looks backwards.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But, you know, I'm in Australia, so everything's upside down here, of course.
Gotcha. At 3:31. So let me just read the notes before we press play. When we call a rebounding foul that's going down the court, simply stop the clock and point the new direction. So that's for all you guys on rebounding fouls. When we go the other way, it shouldn't just be a foul and then nothing, because we have to narrate what happened. So it's foul and then new direction, and then report the foul. White, usually it's a push in the back or a hold, and then add a new directional point after that as well. So you're adding a directional point on the spot, and then you're going to report the foul and add a directional point after you show the foul signal. So on this play, you call the foul, and then you immediately signal the hand check, almost like you have to prove to everybody what the foul is. This was a holding. I know the feeling, bro. I know exactly what you're doing. I've been there. This was a holding foul as the defender grabs the offensive player from behind. So report a hold and don't signal the foul type on the spot. All right, you could let it play. Okay. Good, excellent. So just replace your hand check signal with the point, right?
Right. It would look so much cleaner.
Yeah, and slow it down too. Remember cadence. 1, 2, should be like 2 seconds. Boo. I mean, that's just a random number, but you gotta let it breathe. So the fist needs to breathe. Point needs to breathe. They need to be separate. They shouldn't bleed into each other. What was one other point? And did you see how the contact is also a hold because it's a wrap from behind?
Oh yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. In my notes, I wrote in all caps, definitely a hold.
Okay.
Quit hand checking.
I mean, we're not going to get in trouble by reporting the wrong foul type.
Right.
I was always told, like, oh, make sure you report what happens because a coach is going to call you. It's never happened. They're never going to call you on that. That's just a bad conversation for them to get into. Like, why did you report a hold when it was a push? It's not something that's going to cause trouble for us. But what I do realize is if we're reporting the wrong foul, then we don't have full self-awareness on the play. And we don't see the play with 100% clarity. So understanding exactly what happened, the foul type, this is going to lead to more accuracy from you. Make sense?
Right on.
Yeah. Next one, 247, step down in trail. I want you to start working the 28-foot mark. So everybody sees the 28-foot mark there, right in front of the coach's bench. That should be our baseline, or let me use a different word. That should be our starting point for trail positioning. Okay, so right now with the ball opposite where it is, I would be 28-foot mark. I mean, you would have to move out of the stack that A2 is in. You wouldn't want to get stacked behind A2, but either you're going to be like a foot in front of him or a foot below him. But all this space between you and A2, we need to eliminate that space. So get closer on this. Okay, so let's let it play. Because then that's what happens. Then they pass the A2 and now we're stacked, right? So we have to, so you got to be at the 28-foot mark. So as soon as he passes it to A2, you have the intuition to know that you have to take a step down to see this contested jump shot now.
Right.
Because there's no way you can see a hit. I shouldn't say that. You're not going to have a 100% open view when you're stacked like this and this far away. So you're almost doing
kind of down here.
Absolutely. You're almost doing that lead up work that's going to put you in the right position on the current position, but having a feel for that next position and where that next play is going to be. So remember, we need to see in between each matchup and should get a side angle on this one to do so. So far, the positioning and trail has been a major theme, and this will now start to become a strength. That's what it's all about, finding your weaknesses and turning them, not improving them, turning them into strengths, like advantages. That's my mindset behind like mistakes and things we need to improve. I don't want to improve them a little. I want that to now be the best thing I do.
Right.
235, you got a foul and lead. My question to you is, what does the defender do wrong? Upon review, could you have held your whistle on this play? Let's check it out.
Yeah, there's nothing. I got nothing there. I basically penalized good defense. That's what I wrote.
Why did you blow the whistle? Was the defender just too close to them, which sped you up in anticipation of a foul?
I think I was anticipating a second hand on the poke, but really, you know, I talked about this with my buddies. Like, couldn't you just saved a foul?
And
couldn't you just saved a foul and just called it out of bounds? I mean, was the contact severe enough or at a point where the game needed it, which it really didn't at this point.
You just bring it back 10 seconds for us?
Yeah.
Also, positioning wise, calling through the paint on the weak side when we're in lead. Just didn't think you had a great angle here. Just a little far away.
Yeah, I think it was something that I need to continue to work on, is just trusting my partner.
Yep.
I wasn't trusting this guy.
Did we have the option to go out of bounds? And if so, would we have stayed here? Let's take a look.
Let's see. I think I'm gonna play behind. We'll let it run for a second. Is after this play.
235. Yeah, you could let it play.
Yeah, it definitely was gonna.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely, it went off 𝗵𝗺's foot, the green defender's foot. So
I think it went out kind of after the play was already over. So in that case, I don't look at that as an option to go either foul or out of bounds. I just look at it as a premature whistle. But do you know the plays I'm talking about where it's like, okay, a little contact, ball goes out of bounds, and as you're deciding, you're like, your fist goes up. I want you guys to just process that and understand the times when we have those options. And if so, can we just go out of bounds? Now, I'm not saying ignore illegal contact. I'm not saying ignore things that you have to clean up. But there's plenty of times where I'm about to call a foul and I get an out of bounds call. Whoop. And it's like the easy answer. It just pops up.
right.
And it's not just with fouls and out of bounds. It could be, it's fouls and out of bounds. It could be a block charge out of bounds or deflection versus out of bounds, stuff like that. Next play we're looking at is 222, free throw violation. All right, this is a rule play, so we can all chime in here.
Yep.
All right, 222, we have a free throw play here. What's the correct ruling? Right now, Zach. All right, but I would like you right here the whole time and not even drift below the baseline there with the ball. I wasn't sure why you were so far down there.
Oh, why it was so deep?
Yeah, like where you have the ball now, I feel like is where we should always be when we're administering that free throw as the lead.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't know why I stepped so far back.
It's a microcosmic thing that has nothing to really do with the game. But again, we're piecing together all of these little things that we can add up, and you could be a new ref. And
right.
have, you know, these new updates. So, all right, let it run. What do we got? Who's got the whistle?
I did.
No, I know. I was asking the group. What do we got?
It's a violation.
Okay. Be more violation on who?
Can't see the number. The guys over there that stepped in early.
Which one though?
Let's go back to the first free throw. Or we know we have players stepping in early. We just got to figure out who violated first or what the correct ruling should be.
Oh, so I thought it was that green.
One thing I dislike about NFH just now, it's so hard to get to timestamps.
Zach, can you unoptimize and then optimize again? I'm not sure why it's doing this.
Oh, hold on.
Well.
Sorry, guys. It's playing when I don't want it to play, so.
You're good. You're good. The word of the week is patience.
Let's see. We'll unclick that. Click that back. Better?
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
All right, so somebody make the call here. It's tough.
White goes in early.
White
Yeah.
goes in early.
Right, and then the opponent, from what I can tell, yeah. So yeah, we should have killed that free throw.
How would you kill it?
Blow your whistle, like violation on white.
Yeah, wave it off.
Mhm.
Zach, we got to see it one more time because I think it's closer than we think. Yeah, so stop the clock. Wave it off.
I think I still think green went in first.
You think green went in first?
Oh, I still think. I'm still.
Is that who you called it on?
That's who I called it on. Yeah.
Did you process?
They kind of like.
Did you process that white went in too, or did you just kind of react?
I did process that he went in. They were kind of, the way I saw it, they were kind of like jostling a little bit pre-shot for rebounding position. Green knocks white off balance. Green puts a foot in first. And then I saw white.
You can make the case here that the trail ref probably had a better view on that. Maybe he should have made that call. Like from the angle that you're standing on the baseline, you probably wouldn't have had as good an angle on that play.
Well, yeah, the white rebounder, I wouldn't be looking at him anyways.
Yeah.
So because those two up top are his.
Let's just look one more time. Just look one more time, and then we'll talk about the three possibilities it could have been. We don't have to not that we're debating, but we don't have to get to the right answer of what the correct call should have been, because I think it's close, and I think we need to watch it a few times and slow it down and all that stuff. But I want to talk about the three different options that it could be. Could be either a violation on the defender, violation on the offense, or double violation. So violation on the defense, pretty simple. We're going to just put that fist up, the delayed violation. Now, Zach, you should have had your, if you're going to call it on green, then we should have went pending violation, right?
Yeah, I had a fist out, didn't I?
I don't know. The screen got blurry again.
Is it still blurry or?
Is it blurry on your end, guys?
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
blurry.
It's green.
Yeah, because I'm looking at it right now, and both of us had fist out.
Okay, disregard then. So, as Cherie said, if let's say green doesn't violate and the offense steps in, then we're gonna kill the play with a nice wave off. If that's the last free throw, we're pointing the new direction and then indicate the spot. If it's the first free throw, we're gonna kill that one and they'll get one shot left. And what about double violation? What do we got there? They step in at the same time.
They step in at the same time, then there won't be another shot.
This was the last of one, right?
Right.
So there won't be another shot. Then what?
Then play will resume at the point of interruption, wouldn't it?
Or have someone step in?
No, it should be, if that's the case. We go with the possession arrow.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, there's the arrow.
Yeah, because then they didn't have a chance to rebound to determine who has possession of the ball. So we had to go to the possession arrow.
Right. No, that's right.
So how I'll do that is I'll stop the clock and then strong held ball signal as they both step in. They both step in, boop, 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 held ball. And then to know whose ball it is right away, that's three signals right in a row. It's a way to, really showcase yourself and show that you're running the game. Anytime we have those layered plays and multiple signals in a sequence, for us to know them all in unison, with a nice cadence to each one of them, it's going to make us really look good. All right, we can move on from the free throw play. Thank you.
Perfect.
John 𝗕𝘂𝗆𝗆, welcome.
Sorry, I'm late.
Oh, happy you're here. Miss Travel 113. Did you think this was a walk?
113, you said?
113. Damn, we got a lot of plays here. All right, so Miss Travel, get your eyes to the feet of A1 to determine his legality, but more importantly, step down to be in a dependable position to see in between the opponents. No more reffing from the back, ref from the side. That just means you're not stacked. You're in between. Uh, 113 coming up. Zach's fixing his hair. Hair looked great that game, by the way. All right, what do we got? Was that a walk? And let's look at the positioning. I think you got to be more sideline oriented because you might have been slightly stacked. Boom, stop it. I want you to just bring it back to where A1 catches the ball.
Where he catches? All right.
Yeah. But just notice when he catches the ball, you're standing right behind him, pretty much. Again, 28 foot. Should be right at that 28-foot mark.
Almost got there, and then and I got straight lines here.
Did you? I know it's a little blurry. Did you think that was a travel?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
His pivot, yeah, his left was his pivot, and his pivot slid a good 2 feet.
All right, let's go to 23-4. You got a block charge play. We love those. Why are they so fun? Is it because it can go either way? Is that why we like it?
I think so. I don't know. I think it's one of those things where it's just there's so much adrenaline where everybody's like anticipating the call.
Mm-hmm.
I always tell
And
people I'm mentoring that half the crowd will love you and half the crowd will hate you no matter what you call.
Exactly. You know there's going to be half of them groaning, half of them are going to be.
Yeah.
23-4 block charge play. Did you pick up the legality of the defender before the crash, or were you watching the ball and reacted to the contact?
Oh yeah, I was watching the ball.
Anybody notice it?
He was legal. He was legal as all hell.
Anybody have any tips for Zach on positioning here? Zach, can you bring it back one more time?
Yeah.
What do we think of his positioning?
Ooh, I'm like,
Oh, you should be.
close.
Is he off the inline? Because it's out of my screen. I can't see him. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm out of the screen.
And
I'm out of
close
the screen.
better.
He's in Texas right now.
Okay.
We're standing on the R, the E, or the R.
Yeah, I should be around right around here.
Yeah, and deep, you were deep too again. You were by the wall here. So it's just a tough call when you're that far away. Were you looking at the defender at all, or were you just kind of watching the ball?
I think I was kind of watching the ball, but at the same time, I feel like this would be a tough play too to even officiate from the R just because of this help defender kind of getting in the way of our.
Yeah, I mean he's making it slightly more challenging, but only because you're at the angle that you are at. I think if you step a little closer to where you indicated in the R or E, you'd probably be able to see through it.
Okay.
And let's just look at that contact one more time. Looked like he was legal. Arms straight up. Does he move on the airborne shooter? Oh, and then you got to let the play run. Because you had the ball here. Ah, you let it go. You let it go. Again, this is just a small thing, but like it looks so much better and we're in such more control of the game. Again, patience. We don't have to rush. I know it's the ball, but it came right into your space. So just stop what you're doing, grab it, give it to your partner, and then go report the foul. Wouldn't you say that looks better?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Good. I mean, I do it so much now, I'm diving for loose balls to retrieve the ball. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm not diving for loose balls. Just seeing who's up. All right, we got a lot more plays to look at, so let's pick the best ones. Which one? We're just starting the second quarter. That was a lot in the first quarter, man.
Yeah, I know. There's one play that you didn't have on the IPR that I want the crew to look at, just to give me tips on it, because it was a play that there's no reason that my partner should have been calling the foul, but he really bailed me out on a 3-point shooting foul.
Okay, I want to pull that play up.
Yeah, I'll pull up. Let's see. Yeah, it's 5:37. That's where it was. It wasn't on the IPR, but I thought it was a really good play to look at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I missed some things too.
This should be after this.
These players got some nice posters hanging up.
I know.
Fire content. I need to make those for you guys. Put them up in my house.
Oh, it must have been after. It was after this out of bounds. That's right. Because it was a corner 3-point shooter. That my partner bailed me out.
I'm sorry.
Or wait, did I have a fist on that? Maybe I did have a fist on it. I don't know. I can't tell.
I want to bring it back one more time.
Yeah, let me rerun that.
And what's your question on this play?
Like, where was I looking?
Okay.
If I didn't call that foul, where was I looking?
Okay, looks like you're on it here.
Yeah. Did I watch him land is my question.
Mm. No, you didn't.
I didn't.
Nope. So making sure, here's a good tip for all jump shots. 4 Fs. Feet. Is it 2? Is it a 3? Did he travel? He or she travel? Foul, up in the air. Did he get hit in the arm or held or pushed? Floor. Yes. Does he land? Does the defender give him time and space to land?
Mm-hmm.
And then flop is the final one. Did the offensive player flop? So that's the 4 Fs for you guys to apply for all jump shot plays. No matter the level, no matter the 2-person, 3-person, or the position that you're in. So yeah, keep your eyes locked in till that defender lands.
100%.
428.
100% a crew saver.
Yeah, he came from way in left field for that one.
Oh yeah.
Did the coach say anything to you notably at 428? He didn't have much interaction, so I was just trying to find some kind of communication content parts of the game.
Oh, he was upset that it wasn't a travel.
Okay, what did he say?
They didn't call travel.
How did he approach you? What did he say? How'd you respond?
He just basically had his hands on his head, and he's like, "How is that not a travel?" kind of thing, kind of reaction.
Okay, what'd you say?
Was what I remember. Trying to remember what I said. Let's see.
And we're getting blurry again.
I basically said that the ball was loose, that the player didn't have any control.
Okay. And then what did he say after that?
He calmed down after that.
Okay. So that was good. That was a good explanation. You have the option too of asking them, "Oh, what did you see?" If you felt like you need to add another line to that. Sometimes you give them the rule based. So I had the offensive player was fumbling the ball.
That's a travel.
Yeah. Oh, I don't like my mechanic though.
What don't you like about it?
Choppy.
Okay.
It's very choppy. Is it still like really, really blurry or?
No, now it's good.
Now it's good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We'll rewatch this because I think you had this on there too.
A guy just joined the group who just took 30 years off.
Oh, yeah.
Just took 30 years off from reffing. And now he's back.
Another thing I noticed, and they also pointed this out to me in ref school, was one of my nervous habits is just messing with my pants.
I mean,
So-
listen, I do that a lot, but maybe you do it more often. I don't know. I just think I see a lot of officials do that. It's like, especially when like our hands go up for something and the shirt kind of comes up, we just kind of feel and make sure it's okay. But just be conscious of how much you're doing it. It shouldn't be like a possession.
Yeah, what they were telling me is that I'm like, it kind of makes you look nervous or unsure.
Mm-hmm.
She said it was kind of, one of the clinicians kind of told me it was an optics thing. Which
You
is
got
fair.
you got knee tucks?
No, I usually just use a plastic belt where I have compression shorts that I wear underneath it. But I'm definitely interested in those. I've heard good things. So
It's the
Do you
best
wear
way. It's the best way to keep your shirt or uniform tucked. Yeah, I would definitely recommend knee tucks. I won't go on the court without them. It gives you that best tucked, cleanest, professional look. Way better than the belt or compression shorts, which I've done both as well. But to each his own.
right.
All right, where are we at? Which one you want to look at now?
The 428.
You don't need to bring up 428. I just wanted to hear your conversation with him.
No, I'm trying to figure out what's next.
Foul in transition. 149.
Transition, 149. Yep.
We had a series of good no calls and called a foul in the lead position. So I just want to rehash this play. After a series of good no calls and some sloppy play, you call a foul in the lead position in transition. On film, we are stacked, so I'm not 100% it was a foul. Are you 100% it was a foul? Remember to eliminate the foul type and the number of shots on the spots as its excess. If this was a foul, then it would be a hit or illegal use of the hands. You're presenting a hand check foul too often, and they only occur on the perimeter in the backcourt. That's another thing to keep in mind. The location of most hand checks fouls are in the perimeter of the backcourt. They're not like end line. They're not in the corner, really. Because when a player, too, is driving to the basket, we don't want to kill it with a hand check unless it's illegal contact. You want to give it a second when he's in, like, that critical scoring area. That's a lacrosse term, critical scoring area, but close to the basket or driving to the basket.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel like that's one of those plays where I could have, especially with, I don't know, game situation, foul count where it is. Was the contact pretty marginal? Probably. Was I stacked? Also probably. I feel like it's one that I could have just given it out of bounds.
Can we see 149 one more time?
Yeah. This one I feel like 100% I could have just given hey, he flopped it out of bounds.
You felt like you had options there?
Yeah, I felt like I definitely had options there.
Options are good. They don't present They don't present themselves a lot. So that's why I'm saying the importance of recognizing when they do.
It'll be after this.
And that takes patience. We really can't see on film. So yeah, but it looked like you had the option of going out of bounds, so something to keep in mind. 57-7 was a dependable position. We could skim through that. Let's go to third quarter, 5:07, player control foul.
This one I remember this play so vividly. The guys in the varsity guys from the next game asked me, they're like, what was going through your mind in that moment? I was like, I was just processing. And I was just being hesitant on my decision. Okay. And it kind of made me look like I wasn't sure. After I processed it, I knew what it was. I just took way too long.
Mm-hmm.
Five. $5:07, right?
Yeah.
It's on this drive right here.
Good no calls. I forget what you call. All right, good. So I agree with your decision to call a foul here. Here's a couple things to improve. As you're running towards the end line, make sure you shift your eyes to that last defender so you can certify their legality before the crash happens. So like right here, Zach, you got to be self-talking. Get your eyes to the last defender, eyes to the last defender. Pretty much as you cross half court and you transition from old trail to new lead, then you got to start self-talking and thinking about your responsibilities and finding that defender that can hurt you the most, and that there's only one defender in this play. So boom, right now, you'd be looking at him back and forth. Offensive player, defender, right. Legal. And in your head, legal. And it's legal until he's illegal.
Right. That's a pretty cut and dry one.
So you stop the clock with the open hand, I see. I think you did that a couple times. I think I noticed that a couple times. Yeah, you didn't notice it. I'm glad you didn't, so we could start to correct.
Oh yeah, yeah, that hand looks open. Either that or my fist isn't turned. I can't really tell. Because I know I had a bad habit of having my fist where like my palm forward facing when I was making a fist.
Oh yeah, the bushwhackers foul.
Yeah, so it might have been that, to be honest.
Bushwhackers
pretty
is
grainy.
A 1990s World Wrestling group, and they used to march like this. So anytime I see a ref call a foul like this, I always call it the bushwhacker foul.
I like that charge hand signal. That's different from what we would do.
Charge hand signal?
Is that what you're doing there?
Yeah, so it's a little bit in high school. In NFHS, it's supposed to be a hand behind the head and then an extended open palm for player control.
Okay, cool.
I would recommend going with the 1 finger or 2 finger point. Let me just read 147. Eliminate the habit of immediately signaling a hand check on a high percentage of your whistles. Being so quick with our signals also means our mind is racing and we need to slow down our processing. I said that before. Foul and lead. Let's look at 53.7.
In the third.
Yeah.
Oh, here.
Are you pausing it or it's just freezing?
I was pausing it.
Okay.
I was trying to get to a time stamp that I could. Like I said, it's kind of hard to. I don't like my positioning either. I should have been closed. I should have been closed down.
I don't see any officials. Oh, there's one. Oh, maybe it was.
It's because I was all the way out, almost by the 3-point line. Back in that kind of the area behind the black Chandler area.
Could you show that foul again?
Yeah.
My question was, where did the legal contact occur? It appears that B1 hits A1's arm, so I'm curious why you reported a blocking foul. Take note that blocks do not occur in the air, as they usually involve a grounded defender. So that's for everybody else too. On blocks don't happen in the air.
Yeah,
So,
I have no clue why. I think it was just another situation of just not slowing down.
Mm-hmm. Could be.
Giving myself some time to process.
Mm-hmm.
Watching it on film, it's cut and dry. It's a different thing, getting yourself to slow down on the court.
Mm-hmm.
Versus just sitting on your couch watching your film. So
let's look at 7:42 in the fourth quarter. We'll
7:42.
We'll go till 9:10. Try to get a few more in.
42.
All right, you can let it play.
Yep.
Looks like a clean block by number 3 White. My question, was there illegal contact, or do you agree that it was clean? Let me hear your thoughts. So step to the end line. You'll make that adjustment.
That's one of those pressure cooker type plays I like to call it, where shot, miss, rebound, shot, miss, rebound, and our heart rate and our anticipation level gets moved up a little bit.
Yeah, you said it best. That's a good point. Pressure cooker fouls, I like that. Yeah, because it is intense. There's multiple shot attempts. There's multiple rebounds. There's 4 or 5 bodies in the paint. So we're anticipating a foul. But it's just important that we don't bite. And I think you bit there. I think you had 2 really good no calls. So then you got to match that, level of patience for that third play. And then you go 3 for 3. 3 for 3. I'm sure you guys have all experienced that play that he just had, where it speeds us up and you're like, feel like you might have missed something the first 2, and then boom, second something happens on that third one, you're stopping the clock for a foul. So just be able to take a punch, be able to take incidental contact without biting. 5:19, excellent off-ball coverage. Yeah, this is an off-ball foul. So off-ball fouls really show who can ref. Oh, Zach, where are you coming from? That looked like a long commute.
I know. I want to look at that again. Where was I? Way off the screen somewhere, down in Oklahoma.
But it looked like when you're shown on the screen, it looked like you had already been running 15 steps. Yeah, so we got to be 28 foot here.
Oh, you know what? It must have been. I think I was talking to the coach. I might have got caught in a conversation with the
during
coach.
the live ball.
it might have been because the play was quick, I guess, between live balls, because he's right there at the end of the bench.
Yeah, so there's no
That's the
need
only thing I can think of is that I was somehow before the live ball.
Yeah, we absolutely can't cross the mid-court line to go have that conversation there.
Yeah.
You know, it's not even like he's on your strong side like this coach in the blue.
Right.
Then I can understand that, but he's totally taking us out of our responsibilities. I don't even really like doing that on a free throw because it's not where we're supposed to be. It's way too far out from where we're supposed to be. I can understand maybe first shot of a free throw if you really need to go de-escalate the coach. I've done it.
Right.
I did it last year, I think, once. It didn't feel great doing it. Just I'm like going way out of my way, but I felt like that moment needed to be managed. Charisse, you have your hand up. What's going on?
Why was there all switches were going into transition? Why did your partner?
Could you say that again, Charisse?
On this play that just happened, I guess a couple of seconds ago or maybe some frames ago, there was a foul. Was there a transition? Like, were we going the opposite direction? And then if you guys were, why are you making that long switch instead of your partner just pushing you on and he just staying at lead, reporting the foul and then coming back to lead in transition? So he would have been the new trail.
It's one of these weird Arizona specific things where they want us switching on everything, on every foul.
Okay, they just seems like
no matter what. If I'm working a college game or if I'm working like a summer like pro-am type thing, I'm not.
That's a national thing. That's not Arizona. On every foul we switch in high school.
Right, but we're going in transition, like we're going the opposite direction. Am I wrong? And did I not see that correct? There was a foul, and then we're going the opposite way. Like we didn't stay there in that front court. We're going the opposite direction, correct? Or did I miss something?
Which timestamp are you talking about specifically?
I couldn't see it. It was like 4 plays before. It was whatever timestamp you had while we're on this sequence of plays. They happened like when he was way back over there talking to the coach. That's what I was referring to.
Okay, so what was your? I know what play you're talking about. What was your question again?
So my question was, I thought I saw a foul, and so now we're going the opposite direction. So my question is, why is there that long switch instead of your partner just pushing you?
Oh yeah, gotcha.
And he reporting the foul and coming back to his position to become the new trail.
That's just something you guys can talk about in pregame. You know, that could be one time where we don't switch. I understand that. Hey guys, when lead calls a player control foul, we don't have to do a long switch. But Zach was also really far away, so it looks like he's coming, really far in. If he was at 28 foot, I think it'd look a little more natural. Good stuff though. Let's look at one or two more. Pick one more you want to look at, Zach.
Yeah. Let's see. Which one did I want to look at?
Might want to look at 317. Looks like I had a lot of info there. Rebounding foul.
Yeah, that rebounding one. Yeah, let's look at that one. Q4. Yeah, no, that was a hard foul. I remember it in real time too. Could have been a little bit more of a presence. This one.
So I'll read the notes. The nature of this foul, with the offensive player crashing down the lane and committing a hard slapping foul, might cause me to be prepared to dead ball officiate and take a step towards the players to show that court presence and limit any retaliation. Can you just optimize the clip for the last time?
Yeah.
Thank you. Might cause us to be to be prepared to dead ball officiate and take a step towards the play to show court presence and limit any retaliation. Nothing happened on this play, but keep that in mind and be ready to use your voice. So just having a feel for the game and knowing the moments when we might have to be proactive and manage players.
Seen plays like that where things have happened.
So just having a feel that it's a hard foul, and like I said, just being ready to use your voice.
You guys see better now?
Yeah, thank you.
Right in the dome.
And and even prior to that, if you can just rewind that one more second.
There was a lot of rustling and
Yeah. So our awareness should be really up right there. See the little push, it's a sloppy, it's a dirty play. We got to kill it. So,
right,
which you did, but just know there's going to be times where the player retaliates, whether it's he says something or he just steps to him, or maybe it's nothing, but you're there to step in between and use your voice and project, use your authority voice in that situation. Taylor, you have a question?
Yeah, back to free throws. So, doing a tournament this summer, and one of the guys, like you had the shooter, so on the opposing team, he was acting like he was falling, and almost like it was really believable, like he's about to fall. But I started to realize he's doing it to make the shooter, like to distract the shooter. I told him to stop, and he did. But what happens if he doesn't stop? Would that be a violation, or?
This is a defender on the free throw line?
Yeah.
One of the lane spaces? And he falls down in his space?
No, he doesn't even fall. He's acting like it, like he's losing his balance. And I picked up on it, like, hey, relax on the first shot. I picked up he's doing it to distract the shooter.
But he didn't violate, right?
No.
So he was just kind of like leaning forward?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would use your voice there. You could tell them, that could be a violation. I could view it as disconcertion, which is not going to know what that means. But yeah, it's what you described. I don't see it as a violation. But if you feel like you should have spoken, that's always a good thing. Being proactive.
Okay, yeah, and he quit after it, but it was even on the first shot when you're supposed to relax, and I saw it happen multiple times. And I finally just was like, hey, you got to stop. But it's real believable, like he was about to fall, but he's just trying to distract the shooter in my eyes.
Yeah, absolutely. Zach, you can X out of the screen share. We'll wrap it up. Anything in closing? Any other questions in closing you want to ask, or any other comments for you?
I guess. What are your? I mean, I've definitely worked on slowing down, and I feel like I've slowed down a bit since this film was taken. But a big thing for me and big emphasis this year is just continuing to slow down, especially in the processing stage. What are your tips for good self-talk in those moments to push yourself to to shift down a gear?
I would say it's more than just the micro self-talk in that possession. It's more of just being overall more confident and more poised, and so I would go more macro there and just trying to just be more seasoned and develop, and then you don't have to use these self-talk motivational moments to like bring you back to it. But one thing worked for me is just super slow-mo. Just saying that to myself made me go slower than what I would normally go if I was just saying slow down.
Right.
But better than that, just IPR in yourself. So like this season, you should get as much film as possible. Sit down with a notepad and literally, I gave you a blueprint on how to break down your own film and how to mark things. So I would just start deep diving into your own film study. I mean, that's really how I even got to have a film review service. Is I have a notebook this big of 2-3 years of me breaking down every game I had access to in detail, And I learned a lot and grew a lot from that process, because you're learning twice when you ref the game, now you're watching the game, and then on top of that you're making notes and creating education on top of that. So it's a really great way to accelerate your growth.
I've heard some guys saying that doing film study or reviewing your own game is like the equivalent of working 10 games.
I don't have any data on that, but it sounds like it could work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have any data. Obviously, I don't have any data on that either. But I thought it was. I understand what they're saying, and just seeing yourself officiate while watching the plays is just another deeper level of understanding of having that awareness of what you look like and what you're doing out there is just so important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's like getting dressed for work and putting on your clothes and leaving without looking at yourself in the mirror, right?
Right.
It's like, yeah, you picked out a nice outfit, but you don't know how it looks because you haven't seen it with your own eyes, So I would encourage everybody to watch as much film as possible.
Thank you for listening to the Crown Refs Podcast. Serve the game.